Hello, hello. My name is Amber Drake. I'm so excited to be here just sharing with you my very personal overview and insight into human design and how we can really start to use it, right? So human design is a tool, and I'm going to dive into that, right? And there's a lot of information in the online space about human design. What is it? What's the design type? What's your aura? Which we're definitely going to get into. Human design is this study of the aura. We need to understand those things. But how do we actually use it to create the life that we're craving, right? It's not just a tool, and it is a tool. Tools are only as useful as our ability to utilize them is, right? If we don't know how to use it, how are we going to use it? How are we going to do anything with it? How are we going to create change? So I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to introduce myself really quickly just because, hi, hello, my name's Amber. You don't know who I am. Here we go. You should see my face. Hello, my name's Amber. If you don't know who I am, Amber Leanne Drake. I really am here to work with the ambitious woman, the woman who wants to go all the way in, the woman who's ready to burn the boats and create the life she's craving. Because that, for me, that's where I see this deep deconditioning, embodying, transforming work happening, right? This work happens at that moment that we say, screw it all, let's go, right? And so that's the soul work. And so for me, embodiment, truly, honestly, the Webster Dictionary definition is embodiment is the representation or expression of something in tangible or visible form. It's soul work. It's taking what's inside of here and making it visible. It's expanding it. And so I love to say that I am a catalyst for epic expansion, because I am here for the woman who's like, all right, I want to see my superpowers. I want to dive into my own power. I want to embody this soul that's inside of me just dying to come out. And so I use human design along with my really nerdy analytical brain, NLP, science background, as well as my intuitive gifts to help ambitious women expand in all areas of their life and business. So that's me. I'm also a human being. I love coffee. I love my husband. I love Audible. I love plants. I have a new puppy. She is precious. She's new to us. She's about 7 months old, and I absolutely adore her and spending time with her. If you hang out with me for 45 seconds, you'll see that my husband and I are BFFs. So hang around, because I like you. I like him. I am a real human, and I like coffee. So I've got a lot of energy to share with you. So honestly, my story starts about 4 years ago. If I'm completely honest, this is where I started to realize that there's something different about the humans that I was spending time with that were spending time actually inquiring and diving in and being oh, why is this happening? And why is this happening? And in 2016, my life was actually just one big dumpster fire. It was awful. 2016 was an awful year. I was mentally sick. I was anxious, depressed, I had all of the things. I was physically sick. I had a lot of female issues, pain. I had a lot of yeast issues. I was very, very sick. And I was like, what is my life? I'm 20 something. Why is my life like this? And my husband really shared with me his experience having worked with Tony Robbins, right? He loves Tony Robbins. He shares with me, and I'm like, this guy's crazy. He is big, he's yelling, he's jumping around. Who is this guy? Until I started to actually pay attention to what he was saying, and not just wow, that guy's 4 times as tall as I am. Actually tuning into that, we're inquiring about how our minds are working and what's going on in our inner world that's being projected outside. So, right, 2016, I started to play. In 2017, I started to just really be I am going to absorb as much information as I can. I want to know it all. And then in 2018, I actually started to get stuck in how do I use this? So I'm utilizing I'm not utilizing human design quite yet at this point. I was introduced to it in 2018, and I'm this is interesting, but I had no idea, how do I use this? What do I actually utilize this for? So I look at my chart, and I just leave it sitting. It was the end of 2018. 2019, I dove in. Launched a business. I'm all in. I'm like, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to incorporate all of this knowledge that I now have. And I had no idea what I was getting into. And actually, 2019, I consider the year that I worked my life away. I worked every day, 7 days a week, multiple hours a day, sometimes 18 hours a day. I was working every day, every day, every day. If I work one more hour, I'm going to just make it. And in 2020, I decided to give all of that bullshit up, dive all in, see myself clearly, and finally utilize human design inside of my business and to create a business I was obsessed with, not just one that was functional or kind of working when I was working, right? So I started to play with human design in 2018, 2019. I've been using human design in my life now for over a year and a half, and I love it. I love human design, but I wanted to bring it into my business because I was like, how do I utilize this in the way that I work? And beyond just like understanding like, oh, this is how I should make decisions. How do I use this in my business? How do I use this in my relationships? And so I really have come a very long way in using human design, and I'm so thankful for it. My marriage is just blossomed and it's incredible. My husband and I very rarely fight anymore. We have a very powerful communication, and I am so honored to be able to do this kind of work, this soul unearthing work with women. So that is a long story of like kind of how I got here. But what I really wish I had known at the time when I got started was like diving into this personal development world, this mindset world. It can be really overwhelming, especially because the majority of the population, we have open head centers. And if you have pulled your human design chart, you'll see that that head center is either white or it's colored in, right? That head center is like, what's this and what's that and what are we doing? And we don't want to absorb all of the information. We want it all, we want it all, we want it all. And then we're like, what do we do with all of this? Right? A lot of us are like that. So we buy course after course after course after course after course after course, learning all of this knowledge, but it's difficult when we have that much stuff going on in our head to actually like do anything with it, right? So we get stuck in this like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? How do I have all this information in my head and I can't do anything with it? I'm not moving. We're not moving. So as a kind of as a society, I see all of us, we're just like kind of spinning, and some of us are just like blowing it up and we're growing and we're going for it. And those are the people who are fully embodied. And then there are so many incredible humans that I'm watching get stuck in this loop, in this rabbit, like this like hamster wheel of like, I need to know more, I need to know more, I need to know more. And this mindset world can really take us for, like, for me, a 4-year journey of like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And it took me for this loop when really all I needed to know was inside of my human design chart. So whatever we embody is what we become. And when we take in too much information, we start to embody all of the things and we just get confused and overwhelmed. We lose ourselves. I have a way of being that is natural to me. So do you. When we lean into that and we drop what is not for us, is not our way of being, then we feel in our lives a lot less like we're pushing a boulder up a mountain. And we get to have flow and fun and ease and excitement. So if you haven't yet, download your human design chart. I'd love to hear from you what your human design type is. Are you a generator? Are you a mani-gen? Are you a manifestor? Are you a reflector? Like are you a projector? I don't leave projectors out. Like what is your human design type? Getting started with that is key, right? Knowing the energy, knowing your aura type, knowing how to actually utilize it in your decision-making is so powerful, right? It changes everything. If anyone wants to know, like, the most important thing to know about your human design is your energy type, how to use it, what do I do with that? Your strategy, how to use it, what do you do with it? And then your authority. What is it? How does it speak to you? How does your intuition tell you to like move or not to move? And then like tapping into utilizing it, right? So actually using it. So human design, if you haven't yet, please go download, like I was saying, you can go download your human design chart really anywhere. I love mybodygraph.com. You can just go into Google and type free human design chart and it'll pop right up. There will be a bunch of them. You can just put in your information and it'll pop up, and I'd love to hear what you are. So human design is a scientific system. It's created, based on the principles of quantum physics, astrology, the I Ching, Kabbalah, and the chakra system, which is an amazing just like assortment of knowledge. And Ra, who downloaded really this information, it was just kind of handed to him, and he spent days just transcribing all of this information, downloading into his head. Afterwards, he looked at it, he was like, wow, this is actually like a merging of all of this knowledge we already had, but we keep it so separate. And as a being, we are one, right? All of this stuff affects us, the astrology, quantum physics, all of it affects us. So in learning how to understand your human design, you really are learning how to understand your aura, how your energy moves around you, what your energy looks and feels like, how your energy affects other people. You learn to understand the energy of your physical body, this human that you're in, this human being that you're inside of, right? You learn how that energy moves and affects those around you. How does it interact with the world? So truly, human design is a manual. It's your unique energetic blueprint, how to use it in order to get into alignment in your life, your relationships, and your business. And it's so simple. It gets to be so simple. I know that inside of human design, the conversation has gotten very complicated. We started adding things to it, and we all get our own brains in there, and we start like, it's a mess, right? We listen to 800 people on human design, and it's like, okay, now what do I do with this information? There's all this info out there, but it gets to be very, very simple. Because as soon as you learn how to stay in alignment, all the other stuff fades away, right? Inside of human design, you can expect to learn what your gifts are, like what you're here to share, how to avoid frustration and bitterness and anger, how to stop spinning your wheels, and really how to make incredibly aligned decisions. It's very, very cool. It's so cool, right? So I'm going to briefly go over the types. And if you want to know more about your specific human design type, there are going to be some trainings available on each individual type that goes in depth into the aura of that type, the strategies of that strategy of that specific aura type, and then the authorities and really how to use them. So keep an eye out. You'll be able to grab that if you would like that. So let's get started. The generator. The generator is a little like, there's a little arguing over the generator, right? So I believe that there are actually 5 types, but Rob believes there's only 4. So we'll go with this, and I'll explain to you the 5th type. So the generator makes up about 70% of the population. There's a bunch of us. There's a whole bunch of us. We are all over the place. And we have this big energy, just like, oh, there's a lot of energy. We've got this sacral. If you see this red square right here, this sacral is defined in the generator, and that is life force energy. That's just energy pumping through our body. The generator is here to work. We're here to expand. We're here to just like move things. And we've got a lot of natural energy. So our type really is this energetic type. Then we have the cousin to the generator, which is this contested. It's a 5th type. It's the Mani-Gen. It's the manifesting generator. It's like a manifestor and a generator just like merged. Their aura type still lands under the generator, even though they have manifesting qualities to them. So if you're a Mani-Gen, you've got a little bit of both, and you have to learn how to balance basically both strategies, which is really, it's really cool. It's a lot easier once you understand like how that strategy works, but it's really, really powerful. So the Mani-Gen has that energy with that manifestor capability inside of them. And that aura, again, is that generator aura. The way that it comes out, the way that I kind of see it is it's like this thrumming energy that comes off of us, just and then it actually magnetizes things to us for us to respond to, which I will get to in a second. And then the projector makes up about 20% of the population. And you see their aura kind of comes in front of them. And the way their aura works is it's very sensing, and it's very probing. It directly comes in actually to like my See this diamond in the center, this yellow diamond? That's my identity center. It's your identity center. When you're having a conversation with the projector, they see you. They are in that conversation with you because they are right here. They're not over here like a generator's like, whee! It can be all over the place. We've got a lot of energy. We're talking to all of the people where there's a social butterfly. And the projector's like, I just want to talk to this one person. It's going to be a very in-depth conversation. That other person is going to be seen and loved and heard, and it's right here. And they have this very probing sense to them. The projector is meant to have this truly magnificent lean back energy, just kind of waiting for the invitation, which their strategy, right, is to wait for the invitation. And we'll get to the strategies in a second, but these strategies to wait for the invitation. So they share their magic, and then people come in and invite them into community, into conversation, into projects, into movement, right? And then the manifester, their aura is like, move, baby, get out of the way. I've got things to do, places to go, people to see, and lives to change. I am over here. Manifestors tend to be about 5 to 10 steps ahead of us. You know, a manifestor, they're like, wow, way, way out ahead of us. My mom is a manifestor, and I grew up in a house that was like crunchy, non-GMO, drinking out of mason jars, like way before it was Pinterest worthy and way before everyone else was doing it. And it's like, what? That was coming. My mom was already there. And now people are like, how do you like do this? And how do you do that? And my mom's like, I've been doing this for years. Let me show you. Because she has that manifestor. She's a few steps ahead of everyone. So if you want to see into the future, go talk to a manifestor. But they have this very big energy. They're like, move, got things to do, right? And so they can be very, you notice a manifestor, we'll put it that way. You notice a manifestor. When they walk into a room, you're like, ooh, girl, how you doing, right? Like they're like moving. Manifestors make up about 10% of the population. And then in the reflector, they're like in that 1-2% of the population. There's very few of them. If you meet a reflector, send them my way. They are unicorns, and they are so special because the purpose of the reflector is really, and as you can see in this picture, none of their centers, it's all white, none of their centers are defined. They are mirrors. They are here to mirror back what's going on in the community. What's going on in the community? Because they absorb and they sense the energy that's going on around them, and they mirror it back to us. They're like, here you go. This is what you are. And so the reflector aura can be very nebulous. It can kind of almost be difficult to tag a reflector, like a manifestor. You're like, whoa, a generator, projector, reflector's like, you're kind of shifting, and they are always kind of shifting because they're taking on the energy around them. So do you know your human design type? This is your aura type. This is the energy of your aura. Now, that energy can be healthy, it can be not healthy. We can have generators that are working their tails off. Hi, hello, 2019 for me. Working my tail off, I had all the energy in the world, but I was frustrated and burnt out. We have projectors who are like, people are just utilizing they're just taking too much of me. They don't have as much energy to give. Neither do manifestors or reflectors. They're just like, gosh, people are just taking me for granted, or they're not seeing my unique brilliance, and they can become bitter, irritable. And then the manifestor is like, people are trying to control me, right? They can be in an unhealthy space of just anger. They're just like, And then reflectors can become really disappointed. They can be not seen. They can kind of like fade into the shadows, and they just aren't seen and respected for their unique gift that they bring to the world. And so these auras can be unhealthy. They can also be bright and shiny and healthy and living in alignment, and that is what we want to do, right? So the human design authorities, we're going to look at these super briefly. I'm not going to go into like how to use them because it would take forever, but like to go into each one in a way that would actually benefit you to take and go. But if you want to know more about your energy type and your authority, get a hold of your specific energy types training. So I'm going to have one for a generator, Mani-Gen, projector, manifestor, and reflector available to you. So we have the emotional, right? This emotional authority, it's an emotional wave. The emotional authority that alignment actually comes from time and space, living in their emotions. They make decisions based on their emotions. How does it feel? And once they felt their feelings about it, then they can make a decision. For them, their decision-making capability is not in the now. The sacral, their sacral is yes or no. The sacral has instantaneous wisdom to give us, and so does splenic. Splenic, again, is a very different type of authority, but again, it's a very instant authority. And then we have the ego, the heart. Manifestors and projectors have this. They have this, what is in it for me? It's pretty rare, but it's very much a like, how does this benefit me? How does this work for me? And then we have the self-projected, the G center that says, yes, this is right. This is just right. And then we have the mental projectors, or the mental authority, rather, sorry. And they have this like knowing going on in their head, and they have to get it out to get to their truth. And then the lunar authority is the realm of the reflector. The lunar authority is a space to actually, it's a weighting of the entire lunar cycle for the reflector to make decisions that are safe and healthy for them to stay in that alignment. So do you know your authority, your energy type, and your authority? If you want to know more about how to utilize those are going to be, all of the authorities are going to be explained and broken down and how to utilize them inside of those trainings that I mentioned. And then understanding the aura and communication. This is huge because when we understand our own type, we're able to communicate more powerfully. And we're in a world right now where we are communicating all the time, right? We're on Zoom and we're on Facebook Live and we're calling people and we're texting and we're really not seeing each other in person as much. So understanding the other can be really, really powerful. If you want to go deep into understanding communication, you can check out Communicating in HD. It's a 2-day masterclass series. Or you can look at Communication Queens, which is a full program on communication, emotional intelligence, how to utilize all of that, as well as how to utilize your own human design, the emotional center, and the throat specifically we look at, as well as your aura and the aura of your closest humans, and how to actually speak to them in a language that they hear and understand. And so Communicating in HD or Communication Queens, which includes the 2-day masterclass series, which is really, really potent. So understanding your aura in the way we communicate, because our energy is speaking long before anything else is. When we walk into a room, right, the manifestor walks in the room and is like, whoa, girl, check yourself. She's like moving, right? We can sense that, we can feel that, and she speaks, or he, the manifestor speaks. Their energy is moving long before we open our mouths, right? And so very quickly, I'm gonna go over just each type. So the generator is pulling things in to respond to, right? And I'm gonna look at this. The type really is how the aura, that energy, it affects those around us, right? This is kind of like the kind of car you're driving. You're in a generator, right? I'm in a generator. I'm a sacral generator. I'm here to wait to respond. I'm meant to be deeply satisfied, right? And then my strategy, right, is to wait for things to come into view for me. And that strategy is really like how you're meant to utilize your aura. You're not taking your Porsche Boxster off-roading. Like, you're not like, oh, let's take this baby mudding. Like, you're like not doing that. Your strategy is how you're actually to utilize your energy. Mine is to wait for a response. This is the way that you use the car that you've been given, your generator. And then your authority is how to know what's correct and what's not correct for you. This is how you know when it's safe to move. You can use your gas pedal in a car sitting at a red light, right? It might not be the most healthy thing for you. You're like, wow, that's scary. Or you can use your gas pedal at a green light. You can hit every single light going down Main, just cruising, right? You're like, woo! Because you're moving in alignment with your vehicle and how your vehicle is meant to move. So the projector, they're here to like really share their gifts, and they're to wait for the invitation. the natural like signature of the projector is success. And like I mentioned, they can become bitter when they're not being seen. And then the manifestor, they're here to really inform, to just let us know that they're doing something because they're moving, they're going. Their aura, and it says closed and repelling, and that just breaks my heart because I know so many incredible manifestors who are just amazing, but really that's how their aura works. Their aura is like, it's here inside of them and it just pushes people out of the way because they have to. Otherwise, we all would be like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it that way? And they're like, get off of me, I've got stuff to do. And so their aura kind of pushes us away. It can also propel us into movement, right? And again, that's about 10% of the population. So you probably know a manifestor, but you probably don't know a ton of them. And then they're not self-themed, but they can kind of, their like unhealthy aura lands in anger. Ooh, an angry manifestor. Leave me alone. And then the reflector. Their strategy is to wait. That's the car that they're in, right? Their type is a reflector, and then their strategy is to wait an entire moon cycle. To wait. And their signature is surprise, which is so fun. They're like, wee, this is so awesome. I didn't know life could be so cool. And then they're not self-themed. That unhealthy aura is disappointment. I'm disappointed. Disappointed in my people, disappointed in myself. I'm not being seen. So how does this feel? Like, do you feel like you have a little bit of a grasp on your design type? If you want to know more, like I said, just tune into your design type. They're going to be little tiny, like, but potent and delicious masterclasses for each one. And then if you would like to work with me in any capacity, if you want to take any of my courses live, I have lots of VIP, delicious options to work with clients, but I also have a lot of access to trainings that are self-paced. They're also self-paced priced. Go in, get what you need, take it, learn, grow, utilize it, and just expand. And so I love doing readings. If you would like to have a very personal, intuitive reading done, please reach out to me. I would love to do that. If you want to just know more about your design type, again, just go check out those little tiny masterclasses. They're for each one, that's going to include the authority, the strategy, how to actually utilize it in your life, and how to really begin moving with your design type. And then if you want to know more about communicating in your power and actually utilizing this in the way that you communicate with your family, your friends, and in your business with your clients, and developing your own self-trust and deep emotional intelligence, check out Communication Queens, because it is going to be awesome. You can get that either self-paced, or you can check in with me on the next round that we're doing as a group, which is going to be dope. So if you feel like you're like, I just really want to work with her, I want to check her out, feel free, check me out, get to know me. I'm on Facebook, Amberly Drake. I'm on Instagram, Amberly Drake. You can find me everywhere. I would love to hear from you. What is your design type? What's your energy type? I want to know more about you and your experience and your journey with human design so far. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can see your beautiful face. Hello. All of my love to you. Thank you so much for having me today and spending some time with me. And we will definitely talk soon.